What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nico, and in today's video we're going to be doing a little Doc Martens Q&A. This is my third day uploading in a row, and that's because my sister actually challenged me to make 30 different videos in 30 days, which she just did on her channel. If you guys are interested in productivity, I'm going to leave her channel down below. But yeah, I'm going to need suggestions for content to make moving forward. So it would be really awesome if you guys could leave comments on what type of content you want me to see, what type of questions you want me to answer. If you leave those in the comment box down below, that's really gonna help push the direction of the videos that I make, the content that I make, and it's really gonna help out. Today's video is going to be all about Doc Martens. I'm going to be answering the questions that some of you have been asking in the comments of a lot of the videos that I posted, because I've done a bunch of Doc Martens content and I get a lot of questions often that are the same, so I thought, why not just make one video to answer most of them. And if any of them aren't answered, leave those in the comment box down below. I replied to most of the comments, so I'll be sure to answer those down below. The first question that I get asked is, what pairs of Doc Martens do I still own? Because I've gone through a bunch of different pairs, I've owned a bunch of different pairs, but now I've actually narrowed my collection or my rotation down to two pairs. The first pair are these, I don't know if they're technically 1460s, but they're the Pascals, and they are called the Pascal Vintage. The difference between the Pascal and the main 1460 is the shape of the shoe. The Pascal is a little bit pointier. A lot of them are marketed as women's shoes, but they are unisex, so they work for guys and girls. They fit just fine. They are, again, just a little bit more pointy. And these ones are the Vintage, so they have those sort of gold tone eyelets. Those are really the only differences between the Pascal and the main shoe, and those are some of the features that this Pascal Vintage have. The second shoe that I have are my first pair of Doc Martens. These are the 3989 Brogues, and these are probably my favorite Doc Martens ever. I've worn these a whole bunch. In the first year that I owned these, I wore these pretty much everywhere. I wore them with pants, shorts, wherever I went that I wasn't wearing sneakers, I would wear these shoes. So these have gotten the most wear out of any of my Doc Martens, not just because they're the oldest, but also just because I liked wearing them the most. Another very popular question that I get asked is, what should I get in terms of size? So this is all about sizing. Now, my first recommendation with sizing would be to just go to the store to try them out, or look for a friend that has a similar size as you and try their shoes out, because that's the only way to truly know with Dr. Martens, because Dr. Martens are very hard to size. The biggest reason, I think, is because they don't have half sizes. So it's really hard to get that perfect fit. Even if you sort of know what your fit is, you might end up being in between sizes and not really have that perfect fit. So the first recommendation is to try them if you can. Now, if you can't, but you have the option to order and then maybe return if they don't fit, what I would suggest is that you either go half a size down if you're in between sizes, or you stick to true to size. So for example, if you are a size 9 US, I would stick to size 9 US with Dr. Martens. And I know that a lot of the recommendations is to size one size down fully, but from my experience at least, I usually wear 9.5, and I wear the size 9 Dr. Martens. So if you are a 9, I would just stick to the 9, but if you are a 9.5, so if you're a half size, I would size down. That would be my basic recommendation. Again, that's not always going to work. I think it really also depends on foot size in terms of the shape and all that, variation. So again, if you can, try the shoes on. I've tried every single pair of shoes that I bought, and the only sort of mishap I've had in terms of sizing were my 3989 made in England, which felt a little bit short for my foot for some reason, even though it was the same size as all my other Doc Martens. So that's the only sort of shoe that didn't fit me perfectly, but all these other ones fit me perfectly. So again, my recommendation is to stay true to size if you are at an exact size, and if you are half a size, or if you're in between sizes, I would size down to get a good fit. Third question I get asked in regards to Doc Martens is, will I be making more Doc Martens videos, more Doc Martens content? Because again, I do shoe reviews when I pick up new shoes, but the truth is I haven't really been wearing these too much over the past year. I work from home, so I don't really go out too much, and when I do, I'm wearing sneakers. It's either to work out, go for a walk, go for short errands, and I just prefer to wear sneakers because it's easier to wear, much quicker, and I also just wear a lot of gym clothes to go out to do errands and stuff like that, so it fits the outfits more. But I see myself over the next year picking up the Doc Martens content, because even though I don't wear these, or I haven't worn these as much over the last year, I still really do love them, and I actually do want to upgrade these shoes, which I'll talk about in a little bit. The next question I get asked is in regards to lace code or lace meanings. So for those of you that don't know, when you look into the history of Doc Martens, a lot of subcultures that wore laces gave meaning to the laces that they wear. Some of them, for example, I think if you wear white, it has something to do with like white power, or if you wear red, I think it has something to do with like committing crimes, so on and so forth. So not all of them have bad meanings. Some of them have good meanings, like some means you're neutral with everything, and some support different causes. I think pink ones support a certain cause. I'm not exactly quite sure about all the different meanings, but I just know that different subcultures throughout time gave meaning to Doc Martens. The ones who wore a lot of Doc Martens, skinheads and that sort of thing. Now, when it comes to me personally, I don't believe in any of that. Not that I don't think that they existed in the past, but in terms of today, a lot of the subcultures that had lace code do not exist anymore. And if they do, they don't really exist in the same capacity. They're not like they used to. So in terms of modern day lace culture, I don't think it really exists anymore. Now, I know that a lot of you that are watching this might be really into the lace culture, because if you consume a lot of Doc Martens content, if you like the history and you like reading about it, then that's a big part of it, especially if you're like a big Doc Martens collector. But for the most part, no one really cares about the colored laces that you wear. If you're out in the streets and you wear red laces with your shoes, people aren't going to think you've committed a crime. Or if you wear white laces with your shoe, people aren't going to think that you like represent white power or any of that stuff. So to sum it up, these subcultures that used to really take lace code seriously don't really exist, or if they do, they exist at a much lesser capacity, and you don't really encounter these people in your everyday life. Secondly, lace code was never the same in all parts of the world. It was different in different parts of the world. I don't even know if they had lace code here where I'm from in the Philippines. So that's another reason for me not to really pay attention to it. And third, Doc Martens already sells shoes with all the colors of the lace, all colored laces. So if they do that, are you supposed to like just change out the laces if you really believe in the lace code? So there are a lot of reasons not to really follow the lace code. Again, I find it interesting, I find the history interesting, but in terms of practice in today's world, I don't really practice it or believe it in myself. In fact, I might get some different color laces to try on a video. That's an idea for a future video, just to see how they look on shoes. The last question I'm going to answer is, what are my Grail Doc Martens? There are a lot of Doc Martens that I actually find very interesting, very nice, but over the time I've had these shoes and have been buying shoes, there are a lot of shoes that I really like and that I could even see myself wearing, but I really just like to stick to the basics and stick to the pairs that I'm really going to spend a lot of time in, so that they do, break in and develop some character and really mold to my foot, rather than having a bunch of, pairs that I wear maybe like once a month, once every few months. I can see why people do that. I really do love seeing people's Doc Martens collections, but for me personally, that's not really what I want to do with Doc Martens. I want just a few pairs that I wear. The pairs that I do want to replace my shoes with are, I really want a made in England pair of 3989s that fit me really well. And I don't want sort of the traditional cut like the ones that I had. I want the ones that are shaped like this. I had a pair of Elizabeths, which are just like this, but they were sort of that burgundy color, and then they had like the little fringes that you could remove. But when you remove those, they were basically this shoe right here, just with higher quality materials, and that's one pair that I would like. The next pair would be a pair of 1490s. So that's the higher pair. So these are 6 eyelets or 8 eyelets, and the 1490 I believe are 10 eyelet shoes. So those are super interesting to me. I'd love to have those shoes, and I'd love for both of them to be made in England. Now in terms of the features, because I do believe you can get custom shoes if you go to the flagship store. I forget where in England it is, but there's a store there where you can get custom Doc Martens. And I would get either black laces or black stitching, or no stitching at all, just like these 3989s. I do like that cleaner look. I don't mind the pull tab. I like the yellow there, but in terms of the stitching and the way that I dress now, I think I would go for either no stitching or black stitching. And then I would go for black eyelets instead of these gold ones right here. But those are really my grails. I get the 1490s, a custom pair, and then I get a made in England 3989 with this pointier cut and no stitching. So that's it, guys. That is it for this Q&A. If you have any more questions, again, leave those in the comment box down below. And if you have any suggestions for future content over the next 30 days, leave those in the comment box down below. That's really also going to help move this channel forward, and I really appreciate it. You know, I make these videos for me, but also for you, so I always like your input in everything that I do. That's it, guys. If you like this video, give this a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, share the video to those of, you know, to your friends that like Dr. Martens as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.